Hello, I'm Eileen Roche, and welcome to this episode of Between Friends. I'm glad that you joined me here today. We have kind of an exciting program. As I was preparing, I was wondering, am I going to be making a blooper or am I really going to teach you something? I think I'm going to be teaching you something, but we shall see. So, we all struggle sometimes when our fabric pops out of the hoop, and we've talked about it in the past. And we've asked some of our guest sew celebrities if they toss it or try to rescue it. And it's kind of a mixed bag. So today I'm going to show you how you can rescue it. But first, I want to say hello to some of the folks who joined us. Cindy was the first one here signing in. Thanks for joining us today. And we have a fellow Texan down in San Antonio, Jennifer Alexander. Thanks for joining us again today. And another one in San Antonio. And here's another Jersey girl, maybe warm southern New Jersey. Oh, love that. But hey, hello, Jay Bodner from northern Portugal. Beautiful country, beautiful country. We're glad that you joined us. We'd love to know what kind of embroidery you're doing in Portugal. So thanks everyone for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And I see they're from all over. We have Kentucky, South Texas, Arizona, Lancaster County and Northern Virginia, Fargo, North Dakota. Love that, right? Hope you're having a good day up there. So why don't we go ahead and get started? And we'll start off by kind of just talking through the simple steps of how I address this. And sometimes I do toss it, right? It depends, for sure. It depends. So if we could bring up PowerPoint, and I'll show you the 1, 2, 3, don't toss it, let's resurrect it. So we're going to do it two different ways without a template, because often, we go ahead and stitch an embroidery design without a template. And, there's two schools of thought on that, right? There are those who always print a template and those who wish they did. Sometimes we didn't do it, and maybe we're not have access to a computer or a software that would give you the ability to print it. So I'm going to show you how you do it without. And there's 3 simple steps. Number 1, when it happens, is first be calm and exhale and take a moment and write down the stitch number. Just jot it down on a piece of paper, because you're going to have to go back and forth through the design to make everything connect properly. So make a note of that stitch number. Don't do like me and say you're going to remember. Write it down. It only takes a moment. And then you're going to switch hoops. Believe it or not, you are definitely going to switch hoops, and I'll show you how. And then you're going to align. So let me show you what I mean. Here I have 1, 2, 3, and my 3 did not complete in the hoop. It popped out of the hoop, and that doesn't exactly look like a 3. But what I did was I made a note of that stitch number, which was 1006. And then I took sticky hoop and I stitched the first part of the design. And really, when I say the first part, I mean something that you can use as another alignment point. And then I went back if I stitched the number 1, I went all the way to the beginning of the design and stitched that on sticky hoop. The number 1, and then I advanced to the beginning of the 3, and I did stitch the upper portion of the 3 on the sticky stabilizers. So let's just back up so you could see where I messed up. This is what was stitched on my felt, and that occurred at stitch 1006. And so I stitched these elements on the sticky stabilizers. So let's go ahead to the overhead cam and take a look at Well, now, so this worked out for me 3 different times. Is it going to happen today on the live? My fingers are crossed. I hope so. But here's my design that, popped out of the hoop, right? And I have stitched portion 1, the very beginning, and a portion of the 3. So now I'm going to turn on PAL. And I'm going to position my embroidery. Normally when we use PAL, we're lining up the center, right? We're lining up the center of the hoop, those zeros with our laser beams. I'm not worrying about that now. Now I'm going to use that beam to align the straight edge, or that edge of the 1. And this is italicized, so it's not a perfect straight line. But I want to make sure that this vertical line is aligned with an element of the design, and the horizontal line is aligned with another element of the design. And then I'm going to take my fabric, and I have to pay attention. Where did I place that beam? And then I'm going to place that beam in the very same location. And you have to really take your time, make sure it's in the same location. I can finger press that down. And then I can lift my fabric and just take a look at and see if I'm aligned. That looks pretty darn close, right? That looks really, really close. I can do it from the other side if that's going to give me a bit more visual. Now, what's happening here is I have that sticky stabilized, I have a cutaway that's, part of the embroidery design. So I want to see, is my 3 going to align, and is my 1 aligned? And that looks good. So now I'm going to take this over to the machine and stitch the remainder of that design. But before I do, I'm going to answer Marianne de Blagla. And she says, you can stitch on sticky hoop with no issues. Well, good question. Depends on what you're stitching. So I'm going to flip that hoop over so you could see what I did, because these are satin stitches. They're going to cut right through the sticky stabilizer, right? So I just floated a piece of tear away, or even cut away, whatever you have on hand, just so that you have another a layer of stabilizer. And then when I stitched, just on my sticky, I didn't have a problem. It didn't punch through. So make sure you do that. Take that extra step. All right, let's go over to the machine. Now on the machine, I want to retrieve, my design is up there, and I'm at 971 stitches, which is, okay. I can either advance, maybe 10. If you remember, my stitch number was 1,006 stitches. So I know that that's the underlay because I watched this stitch. So I'm just going to go ahead and start it, and it's okay if it's going to stitch some of that underlay again. And we're just going to let that stitch. And when it's complete, I know you don't get a really close-up look there, but when it's done, I'll bring it out under the overhead cam so you can get a good look. Michelle Young, I love what you said. Holy heck, that's brilliant. I have a PAL and I haven't used it. Oh, that PAL is so handy. I'm telling you, that PAL is so handy. You can't believe what it will do. This is awesome. Is it perfect? Yeah, maybe not perfect, but for what I'm doing today, I think it's perfect enough, right? You don't really see that it's off just a little bit, but pretty close, pretty close. That's doable in my view. Okay, so now I have another design, and this is 2 designs that I put together. I'll just turn off PAL for a minute. And as you can see, they are a mirror image of each other, right? Well, it came out of the hoop before the pretty pink or red portion of the design. So we're going to get that back in place. But this time we're going to use a template because I had printed my template. And I will, what I need to do now is align up all those elements, right, with the stitched elements. And, that takes a little bit of doing for sure. So I'm just going to, and I'm using the print and stick target template paper, right? And it is sticky. So when I go to pull it off, it wants to adhere. And I just want to make sure that I'm getting all those elements aligned. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good to me. So now we're going to take PAL and my sticky hoop. And remember, I'm not going to try to get back into some kind of hoop, right? Into a standard hoop or anything like that. And now I'm just going to align the beams with the zeros, the center marks on my hoop. And there we have all 4 are aligned. And now I'll take my embroidery design, my template. But look, I have all this tearaway on there. So we want to remove that. Otherwise, the fabric will not be stuck to the sticky hoop. So I'm going to go ahead and tear that away. And so now when I press, finger press this down to the stabilizer, it's going to stay in position. And now I'm just aligning my template crosshair with the beam, right? So I'm sliding it under and making sure that's all aligned, taking my time. I want to make sure the red beam is aligned with the crosshair on the template. Now the arrow is pointing to the top of the embroidery design, the orientation. And actually, since this was stitched in a 5x7 hoop, that arrow should be in this direction or that direction. But that's okay. I can change that over at the machine and just make sure that the orientation is the same. Okay, so I'm going to bring that up on, let's see. Michelle wants to know, how do you make sure the hoop doesn't move? Well, you make sure the hoop doesn't move by using hoop mat. And I actually have my hoop mat put away right now. So my bad, but that's how you normally would do it. And it stays right in place at that time. Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to select my embroidery design. I have to go back to my USB stick and locate that design. Here it is. Okay. Because, as I prep for these Facebook Lives, I do some of it at home. So that's why it's not on this machine. So I am going to, now you'll notice that my design, right, here's my attachment, is facing that way, which is different than on the screen. So I'm going to rotate that because we don't want that disaster to happen. And I'm just going to attach to the machine. And that'll be centered right over the needle. Yep, just about. And I will move it so that it is over there. We just need like 1 or 2 ticks. And then I'm going to advance through the design. There we go. By color, because I know it popped out at the second red portion, which is right positioned where I want it. So I'm going to raise that presser foot and then peel off my print and stick target template paper, and then lower the design, lower the foot. No, we're going to raise that foot because we've got to change our thread color. And look at that pretty color. That is 315 exquisite thread. I forget what it's called, but I can go look that up for us because it is really pretty. While this is stitching, I'll look that up. I love this color combination. It's really elegant. Okay, we'll let that stitch, and I'm sure that'll come out just perfect. So 315 is azalea. Isn't that gorgeous? Just gorgeous. Oh, so Maureen Shanta says, what causes the design to pop out of the hoop and how to prevent it? Well, if we knew that answer, it would never happen, right, Maureen? What can cause it? Something could hit the hoop. Like if you have maybe rolls of stabilizer behind the hoop and you weren't paying attention, a child, a pet could touch the hoop and make it become and pop out. If you have a heavy item in the hoop and you're not managing the weight of the fabric, then the fabric can pull the inner ring out of the outer ring. So yeah. Okay. Let's see. Jay Bernard over in Portugal is using his 5-year-old brother PRS 100, which she brought with her to Portugal, and stitching finger puppets for my grandkids. Oh, love that. That's adorable. Love it. Oh, and Ann Philbick, you know Azalea number 315, and you use it a lot. Oh, I love that. Okay, let's see. Sorry wants to know, why don't I use the projector on the Solaris to align it again? Well, I could. I have a Solaris, and I could do that. But sorry, you and I are lucky people. Not everybody has a Solaris or a Luminaire with the projector. So this solution is something that anyone on any type of machine, any brand can do. All they need is a PAL for sure. So super easy. Oh, hello, Judy Warren. Nice to have you here. Aloha to you also. Let's see. What other questions? Oh, and Brenda Martin, you just bought the newer version of the Print Stick Target paper, and you love it. I do too. It is really clear, really translucent. So it makes it easy on the eyes to see. And this is stitching out just beautiful. What do you see? When I bring it over, you'll notice that that center of that red flower is aligned perfectly with the new flower that we stitched. So you'll see for sure. Okay, let's see. And Michelle Young, you advocate floating everything. Not me. I like to hoop. I think we get better hold on our fabric and better stabilization, but that's, that's just personal choice, right? Okay, so let's bring this over to the overhead cam so you can get a look. It just, it's not that perfect, but you know why it's not that perfect? Because I didn't trust my PAL and I moved it over, but it's pretty close. I mean, that's fine with me for sure. So not so horrible here. I think I'll turn off PAL so you can see a little bit better. So easy solution, depends on what you're doing. If it's the wedding gown, well, you're going to spend a little bit more time being a little bit more careful. But for most of the embroidery that we do, it works out just fine. Okay, so let's see. We've already gone through that. So you're probably wondering what our special is today, and it is Hoopapalooza the whole month of June. If you remember from last year, we do Hoopapalooza in the month of June. So we're celebrating Snap Hoops, Snap Hoop Monster, and Sticky Hoops. So they're all on sale this month, and you can take advantage of that special pricing and free shipping for orders over $75, which almost everyone is that. And let's see, Jan says, anyone who would pick that out is too picky. Yes, and if it's, on your garment and someone is staring at it, well, they're not probably really looking at your embroidery, right? That's what I say. And Barbara Jones, you say you're learning to love your sticky hoop. It's the coolest ever. There's a lot of uses for the sticky hoop. In fact, why don't I show you some of them? So I'll clean up some of this so we can see and you get a better look. First off, let me point out to you that sticky hoop arrives on a board, right? Keep the board. Don't throw that away. You're going to use that to transport items that are hooped on sticky hoop, because remember, sticky hoop is just, just sticky stabilizer, right? It's not real strong. So, I mean, it's strong enough for embroidery, but not to carry a pair of sneakers across a room, speaking of. So let's go ahead and let's start big, right? It is June in and which we often consider wedding months here in the USA. And I have a colleague here, Gloria, who is our director today, and she said, I don't know why they would say wedding month is in June in Texas, because it sure is hot. So, but anyway, here's a really big hoop. This is the 9.5 by 14. And if you're going to be decorating the tongue of some high top sneakers, like maybe for the bride and groom, of course, this is not going to be on the same person, right? You would either do 2 misses or 2 misters, but I just wanted to give you 2 examples, because if you're going to do it for the bride, maybe you select a feminine script like this. This is out of our Word Art and Stitches, or something that's a little bit more bold and geometric like this one. So How do we do this? Well, the first thing we want to remember is we have this whole sole, and it's only the tongue that we're going to embroider. And what we don't want to do is position our sole in this fashion, because our foot is, our sewing foot is going to try to get across that. So we're going to position it in this fashion and finger press that down. And then this way, as you slide this onto the machine, the embroidery foot's going to be here and it won't get anywhere near the sole. But this big hoop provides a nice sturdy platform for this shoe to sit on. And in fact, you can even do the second shoe, in this fashion, and they don't have to be, square. You have the rotation ability, you're using a template, you can use all the features on your machine so you could still get two shoes or two tongues stitched in one hooping. And, that makes that really super easy. Now, if you were to do that, you'd rip this off, you'd have a hole there and a hole there. So you don't have to scrap the whole piece. I'm going to show you how you can patch. And let's go ahead and do that now. I have a smaller hoop to show you that had a great big hole in it. And I thought, oh, that's very appropriate for this step. So I'll show that to you. And let's see. Okay, so as you can see, well, maybe I'll bring my hoop mat back out so that we can see. I wonder where my hoop mat is. Gloria, you know where the hoop mat is? Oh, I see it up there. Okay, so just bear with me, folks, so I get the hoop mat, because, it's so handy, especially when we're working with either a sticky, a monster, a standard hoop. Doesn't matter which hoop. And there we go. We'll get that down. Now you'll be able to see, because all the stabilizer is, white on the white table, right? So there's my big hole. Hate that, right? So I'm going to take another piece of sticky and separate the protective paper. This is the hardest part of working with sticky paper, is just separating, finding that corner and getting that started. I should have done this off camera. There we go. Okay. So this is the protective paper here in this hand, and this is the sticky. So that's going to stick on my hand. So what I like to do is take that protective paper and place that underneath the hoop in that fashion. And then I take no, that's not right. Sorry, that's wrong. Okay, well, I really like to do this off the edge of a table. So because of the camera angle, just bear with me 1 minute, and I'm going to get a little table so this works out a little bit better for you to see. Because it is really important that you do this the right way. All right, so here I have my totally tubular hooping station, which is just a flat surface, right? But it's going to allow me, so now I have placed my protective paper, shiny side up, on my work surface, and then I'm going to take my hoop upside down and extend that attachment off the work surface so that it's flat, just like that. Now it's nice and flat. And then I'm going to take my sticky paper place that over my hole. And you'll always patch from the back. And because that protective paper is underneath, sweet, right? So there you have it. Now I'm ready to stitch. Oh, it's hysterical. Okay, what else can I do wrong? Let me see. You should see what's happening over here. Oh, okay, so let's move on to, well, we've patched, so we can get this whole thing out of here. And we'll just put this over there for now. And then we're going to talk about, we did the shoes. Now I'm going to show you my favorite size hoop. My favorite size hoop is that 6-inch square. Oh my goodness, I love that hoop. Love that hoop. And I like it because I can do designs that are, within 6 inches square. So for this, I would probably turn on my POW and make sure that's aligned with my centering marks on my hoop. And there we have that. And then I'm just going to, I'll remember this is going to slide onto the machine. So where am I going to put this? I need to put that away from the sewing foot so that I can slide this onto the machine, right? My foot's going to go in that fashion. And then when it does, you want to make sure that you finger press that down nice and taut, and then you're just going to keep all of this under control as you attach it to the machine, but it'll stitch out just fine, nice and easy. Okay, and then we'll take that up. And then, of course, ribbons. These are such a challenge to hoop, so you don't have to worry about that with a sticky hoop. You have that sticky surface that you can just finger press that ribbon to, and it's awesome. Awesome. Okay, let's see. Is it necessary to have a sticky hoop to do the types of things you're showing, or can it be done with a regular or snap hoops? Well, you can hoop sticky stabilizer in a standard hoop, also in a monster hoop. But what I can tell you about a sticky hoop is it's so flat that when it doesn't have an outer ring like a standard hoop, and it doesn't have the magnetic top that creates a ridge between the stabilizer and the top of the hoop, right? So the sticky it's just flat. So if you're doing something like that makeup case, I don't have to worry about anything like, it being lifted and getting caught under the foot and so forth. It just makes it so much easier. And, they're pretty reasonably priced, and they come with 5 sheets of adhesive tearaway stabilizer, and they're just really, really handy to have on hand. They are. And let's see. Okay, let's see. Just looking through some questions. Oh, Barbara, how kind of you to say that this is going to be one of the best lessons. Well, you're welcome. Everybody has challenges in the sewing room. Everybody has challenges. And Donna Branton, you're waiting and waiting and waiting for those hoops for the new Janome Continental M17. Soon, really soon. That's all I can tell you. They're coming. They are coming. And we're as excited as you are. Let's see. Snap hoop monster for German brother NV80. I don't know what that is. Not sure about that compatibility. Sometimes the machine manufacturers change the model number when they are distributed in the USA versus Europe versus South America, and they really can be the same machine, but they're not the same number. So I'm sorry that I don't have that for you. Okay. So that information. Okay. What else are we going to hoop? I think that's kind of all I had planned to show you how to hoop. Really fun things that you can hoop are unhoopable things, right? Like slippers, Velcro slippers, they're such a nice gift for someone. And, you most certainly can't hoop them, but boy, they work out just great. You can place that the sole of the foot over the attachment up on the pantograph, or you could do it vice versa this way. Just make sure that you're keeping it under control during the stitching process. And, it might flop a little bit, but, look, they're beautiful. And it's just really lovely. Monograms, of course, work lovely there. And then, how about a little lovey for a child that has, this gorgeous soft satin border and the fleece, but it's really difficult to hoop that because we have this 3D part up here, the little puppy with the arms and so forth, but you can just position that corner right on that sticky hoop and then stitch away, and then when you tear it away, you won't really have much stabilizer on the wrong side, which would be desirable on a project like this. Okay. So, yes, Sandy, they really are coming out. They are in production now. That's all I can tell you. I can't give you a date because that just gets me in trouble. All right. So I really want you to take advantage of hoop sales this month. You know, we only do it a couple times a year, and many of you wait for this time to get a sticky hoop or a new monster hoop size, maybe. So you're going to be able to take advantage of that special pricing this year. And oh, here's my good friend Irene Wilcoxon over at Embroidery Garden, and she says sticky hoops are great for embroidering napkins on point. Absolutely, it's love it. I mean, it makes it so easy. And Dawn, you're right. There are so many uses for sticky hoop. If you have one, you'll be amazed at how often you reach for it, for sure. But, you know, there are some other exciting things coming up. And, you know, in our embroidery tool shed, which you remember is our free software that all of you are welcome to go download and use it as a sizing software, template making, copy paste, simple editing features. And finally, we've added our own snap hoop monsters to it. So when you click on the hoop icon, you can use the drop down arrow or that slider bar to find your hoop, and it will give you the image of the snap hoop monster. And we're so excited. That's going to be in the next software update. You know, all of our updates are free at Dime. This is for all of our software updates, whether you're just using the Embroidery Tool Shed, the free program, or any of our software programs. All updates are free, and there'll be a new one coming out next week, which will also, you know, which will feature these new hoops and some other things. So excited about that. Okay, what else is next? Well, on June 6th, Ashley is going to be hosting a Software Success Facebook Live, and it's all about piecing in the hoop, which is a great task to do. If you want really precise blocks, all those points to match perfectly, piecing in the hoop might be for you. So join her on June 6th at 1 o'clock to see what she has in store. And if you don't want to miss an episode, well, here's how you can be notified.
In this video, we'll show you how to subscribe to a YouTube channel and follow a Facebook page through your phone. Let's start with YouTube. First, open your YouTube app on your phone. Once you're on your home page, search for the Designs in Machine Embroidery in the search bar at the top of the screen. Click on it and go to the channel page. Once on the channel page, click the subscribe button, and that's it. You're now subscribed to the channel. Now let's move on to Facebook. First, open your Facebook app. Once on your home page, search for Designs in Machine Embroidery in the search bar at the top of the screen. Once on the profile page, click the three dots and select the follow button. And that's it. You're now following the page. Thanks for watching.
And, you know, we would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel and also like us on Facebook. We're striving to get our numbers up for sure. So anything that you could do by inviting your friends to share, to like, and so forth, and subscribing yourself is quite helpful. And Brenda Martin, you want to know, are there any tricks to making sure that you put the rulers at the center? Yes, there is. On my blog, there is a lesson on how to do that. And in the instructions in your package, when you buy a sticky hoop or a monster hoop, it includes a link to go download a crosshair design that you would stitch in the hoop and use that in conjunction with PAL or with just a ruler to ensure that you place those adhesive rulers dead center on the hoop. And it's really quite easy. It's all spelled out very easily for you. Okay, so here's how you can subscribe.
In this video, we'll show you how to subscribe to a YouTube channel and follow a Facebook page. Let's start with YouTube. First, open your web browser and navigate to youtube.com. Once you're on your home page, search for Designs in Machine Embroidery in the search bar at the top of the screen. Click on it and go to the channel page. Once on the channel page, click the subscribe button. And that's it. You're now subscribed to the channel. Now, let's move on to Facebook. Once you're on your home page, search for Designs in Machine Embroidery in the search bar at the top of the screen. When you find the page you want to follow, click on it and go to the page. Once on the page, click the 3 dots on the right side and select the follow button. And that's it. Now you're following the page. Thanks for watching.
Next week is Between Friends at 1 o'clock, but Ashley Jones is going to be filling in for me. I'm going to be visiting my granddaughter up in Norfolk, Virginia. So I'll be taking a couple weeks off and leaving you in good hands with Ashley Jones for sure. So you can enjoy next week's Between Friends with Ashley. And of course, now it's time for On the House. This week's free design is going to be just adorable. We're celebrating new babies all through the month of June. You know, May was the bride and groom wedding theme, and then new babies is June. So let's take a look at what you've been stitching on the House.
Here is a quick tutorial on how to use hashtags in your design post. First, on your Facebook profile page, click on the photo icon. Select the public option sharing so we can view the design once it's published. Add the image of the design you wish to share. Then add the description related to your design. Then we can go on to adding your hashtags. We suggest dime sew along, on the house, or exquisite thread. Finally, click Post.
So Sylvia, you wanted to know, can you get past designs? Well, one of our team members most certainly put a comment in right here. As you can see, yeah, they are all still available and will be, but you know, they'll go away at the end of the year. So follow along and download them every week or once a month. Go in and grab the ones that you have missed, but please take advantage of it. For sure. We want all of you to benefit from this free program that Deborah Jones spends an awful lot of time selecting the designs, having them digitized, you know, working on the color sequences and so forth. So it's not an easy task, but she's doing a fabulous job. And look at this adorable little design all ready for Celebrate a Baby. In this case, it was stitched in pink, but it most certainly could be in blue if you've been blessed with a little boy. So I hope that you'll take advantage of this month's design. Now, what's on special? I think you know, it's all of that Hoopapalooza. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope to see you in a couple weeks, but come back next week for Ashley Jones. She's always full of great knowledge. It'll be fun and exciting. Thanks for joining me.